Hello everyone, I'm back from my vacation even though there's not going to be a difference in uploads. Whatever, I saw a bunch of movies and we're going to review them. First off, I'm going to talk about Ghost Rider. It's Nicolas Cage's Marvel movie. They made Nicolas Cage into a superhero and it's Ghost Rider. He was actually supposed to play Superman at some point, but hey, you know, it's Ghost Rider. This came out in 2007, stars Nicolas Cage, Eva Mendes, Wes Bentley, and probably other people I can't remember. So in this movie, when Nicolas Cage's character is young, his name is Johnny Blaze, he sells his soul to the devil to cure his dad of cancer. And then the devil kills his dad, so Johnny Blaze has to run away. And then, a few years later, he's recruited and becomes the Ghost Rider to stop the devil's son, Blackheart. It's an interesting thing. It's not a very good movie, I'll say that, but there is some enjoyment to be had with it. The thing about this movie is it's really generic in terms of a superhero movie. Like, it's a generic superhero movie with Ghost Rider in it. Ghost Rider, I'll say this, he is one of the coolest looking superheroes ever. He's a flaming skull that, like, uses these chains that are on fire and stuff, and he rides this flaming motorcycle. It's pretty awesome to look at. Like, when Ghost Rider himself is on screen, the movie gets like 1,000 times cooler, because when he's not, it's kind of boring, actually. Like, you know, Nicolas Cage, he's usually really, like, over the top, but he really underplays in this. The only time where he gets, like, really Cage freak-outy is like, the first time he turns into Ghost Rider. And that he's like, he's like that. That's the only real freak-out thing in this movie. Yeah, but back to it, it's really generic. Like, you know, superheroes have dead or dying parents cliche, you run away from the love interest and they kind of have to rekindle, then the supervillain is going to kidnap her to get what he wants. That cliche, they made a bad decision when they were young and it haunts them when until they're an adult. It's really cliche. The only difference is it has Ghost Rider in it, and yeah, when he's on screen the movie gets a lot cooler than it normally is, because it's normally kind of boring. But even then, it's really underwhelming, the action. Like, you see Ghost Rider there, and you think he'd be, like, punching people and whipping them with the chains and, you know, all that stuff. But he just kind of just stands there and just walks around, and occasionally he'll throw stuff at people and ride. And when he's riding the motorcycle, it's cool. But he really just... It kind of feels like Marvel, like, at the time, went in and said, no, Ghost Rider can't do these things because we got to keep the movie PG-13. Which is weird because the Punisher movies are rated R, so why can't this one be like that? I don't know. You know, whatever, that's that, you know, I'm willing to accept it, because those scenes, they're kind of fun. They're a little bit fun. Everything else is kind of boring and underwhelming. So again, Cage is underwhelming. The acting, really nothing that special. The love story, it's not the worst love story I've ever seen, but, you know, there's been better. I'll say this, the writing is pretty dumb. Like, it's really dumb. Like, the point where, like, Johnny Blaze, Nicolas Cage, whatever, is signing the contract to the devil, like, he doesn't even sign the contract. Like, the devil gives him the contract, and he gets, like, a paper cut on it, and then drips blood on the place you're supposed to sign, and the devil says, okay, that'll do, now you're the Ghost Rider. And it's just like, he didn't consent to sign the contract. And throughout the movie, and even the sequel, which I'll talk about later, they say he sold his soul to the devil. He didn't. The devil kind of just tricked him to opening the contract, and he accidentally dripped blood on there, which made him sign his soul over to the devil. And that's kind of dumb. I don't understand why that is a thing. Like, I mean, I don't know, whatever. And there's this other moment where, like, his love interest, played by Eva Mendes, Roxanne, is, like, waiting at a restaurant for him, and Nicolas Cage isn't showing up because he's turning into the Ghost Rider. Like, she pulls out a magic 8-ball and is like, is this a good idea? And I'm like, do you carry a magic 8-ball with you all the time? Like, who carries a magic 8-ball with them all the time? And, like, earlier on in this movie, there's this guy who's walking out in the dark in the city, and he's carrying a lantern, which is also kind of weird. Like, don't you think he'd be carrying a flashlight? They're 1,000 times more practical than lanterns, I'll say that. Yeah. And some of the writing, you know, like... Some guy, like, when he learns of what Nicolas Cage did, he's like, anyone got the guts to sell their soul for love, it's the power to change the world. That's Sam Elliott's character, by the way. Yeah, I forgot to mention Sam Elliott is in this movie. He's alright, but it's really hard to understand him, because he just talks with this really thick southern accent. which is almost like, you know, it's hard to understand like Matthew McConaughey. But I kind of can understand Matthew McConaughey because he talks a little clearer. Sama is just like, yeah, you're the Ghost Rider, and I know, you know, that's really it. There's not a whole lot else. I do really like the music, though. The music's actually pretty good. Like, I really like the main theme, which is a remix of the song Ghost Rider in the Sky by a band called Spider-8. That's actually a cool song, which I do like listening to every now and then since I've seen this movie. That's pretty good. Special effects, they're alright. You know, Ghost Rider looks pretty good, but he looks better in the sequel. I don't know, you can kind of tell it's CGI in this one, but, you know. You could just say that Nicolas Cage can set himself on fire whenever he wants to. I'd believe that. There's not a whole lot else to say about Ghost Rider. It's kind of a generic superhero movie with Ghost Rider in it. There's some cool action scenes, but the writing's kind of dumb. The action is a bit underwhelming, even though some parts of it are kind of cool. Writing's not very good. It's not a terrible movie. Like, when I saw it, I watched it on an airplane. I had an okay-ish time with it. Like, it wasn't painful. It didn't annoy me. It kind of bored me in some areas, but others were kind of alright. I don't think it's a terrible movie, but at the same time, it's not very good. You know, but whatever. You know, Marvel has the right to Ghost Rider again, so if they want to put him in the MCU in the future, go right ahead. You could probably do a better job than this. I don't think Nicolas Cage is a bad Ghost Rider. I mean, I can see him because Ghost Rider is a flaming skull on a flaming motorcycle. I think Cage would actually be a good role for that, but, you know, it's not the best because he underplays it. He should have been more laughy and edgy and stuff, which he actually is in the sequel, which I'll talk about. But that's it. That's really all I can say about Ghost Rider. It's not a worst movie I've ever seen, but it's not great either. But still, if you've got nothing to do and you really want to watch it, then I guess go right ahead, but, whatever. Ghost Rider gets a 60%. Not an awful movie, but it could definitely be better. And for those of you, a 60% isn't a D. My rating system's like this. 0 to 20% is an F, 20 to 40 is a D, 40 to 60 is a C, 60 to 80 is a B, 80 to 100 is an A. And I guess you can substitute like the minuses and plus into there. It's very inaccurate, but this is how I do things. Whatever. That's the end. If you've seen Ghost Rider, you can tell me what you think about it. If you think it's terrible, if you think it's awesome, whatever. I'll see you guys next time. I'll probably talk about another movie. I'm going to review the sequel after this. Adios, home slices.